Welcome back to the Rooted Wild podcast. I'm your host, Katherine Winkles, a certified recreation therapist and therapeutic horticulture ally. This space is where we explore nervous system care, recreation therapy, and sustainable ways of living well through nature, movement, creativity, rest, and compassionate self-understanding. In the last episode, we talked about creativity as a way to move through loss and transition. Today, we're expanding that conversation into something deeply connected: relationships. This episode is called Relationships, Boundaries, and Nervous System Safety. Because healing doesn't happen in isolation, but connection can also feel complicated, especially when you're navigating chronic pain, burnout, life transitions, identity shifts, or changes in capacity. Today we'll explore how relationships and boundaries can work together to support your nervous system, rather than overwhelm it. Take a moment to think about the people in your life. You might notice who feels easy to be around, who feels draining, who feels supportive, or who feels unpredictable. There's no need to judge these observations. Your nervous system is constantly tracking relational safety. Take a slow breath in and gently exhale. Let's talk about why relationships affect the nervous system so deeply. Humans are wired for connection. From a neurobiological perspective, humans are fundamentally relational. The nervous system develops in connection with others through tone of voice, facial expressions, eye contact, touch, and shared rhythm. This is known as co-regulation. Research in interpersonal neurobiology shows that safe relationships help regulate heart rate, stress hormones, emotional responses, even immune function. Polyvagal theory further explains that the nervous system uses social cues to determine safety. When we feel safe with others, the body shifts toward calm states, openness, and connection. When relationships feel unpredictable or unsafe, the body may shift into anxiety, hypervigilance, shutdown, or withdrawal. This means relationships are not just emotional experiences, they're physiological experiences. For many people, relationships can feel complicated, especially during times of change. You might notice less energy for social interaction, needing more rest or space, difficulty explaining your experience, feeling misunderstood, or feeling pressure to show up in ways that no longer feel sustainable. For individuals navigating chronic pain, trauma, or burnout, the nervous system may become more sensitive to overstimulation, emotional demands, unpredictability, or conflict. This doesn't mean you don't value connection. It means your system is trying to protect your capacity. So let's talk about what boundaries actually are. Boundaries are often misunderstood. They're not walls designed to shut people out. They're regulation tools that help you stay connected without overwhelming your nervous system. From a psychological perspective, boundaries support emotional safety, energy conservation, predictability, and autonomy. Healthy boundaries allow relationships to remain sustainable over time. Without boundaries, the nervous system may move toward overextension, resentment, burnout, or withdrawal. With boundaries, relationships can become more stable and supportive. When you set a boundary, your nervous system is essentially saying, "This is what I need to stay regulated." Research on stress and emotional regulation shows that perceived control is a key factor in reducing stress responses. Boundaries increase perceived control. They help the nervous system feel safer, more predictable, and less overwhelmed. At the same time, setting boundaries can feel uncomfortable. You might notice guilt, anxiety, fear of disappointing others, or concern about conflict. These responses are normal. They often reflect learned patterns about connection, not wrongdoing. Let's make this practical. Boundaries can be simple and specific. For example, for time boundaries. I'm available for about an hour and then I need to rest. For energy boundaries, I don't have the capacity for that today. For communication boundaries, I may take some time to respond, but I will get back to you. For emotional boundaries, I care about you, but I'm not able to hold that conversation right now. And for social boundaries, I'd love to connect, but I need something low-key. These statements allow you to remain in relationship while also respecting your nervous system. Staying connected while setting limits. One of the biggest concerns people have is, if I set boundaries, will I lose connection? But boundaries actually support connection when they are communicated clearly and with care. You can pair boundaries with connection by acknowledging the relationship, expressing care, and offering alternatives when possible. For example, I really value spending time with you. I'm feeling low energy today. Would it be okay if we kept it short or did something more relaxed? This approach helps maintain connection while honoring capacity. Sometimes as you begin to honor your needs, relationships may change. Some people will adjust. Some may not understand. And some relationships may naturally shift over time. This can bring up grief, similar to what we discussed in earlier episodes. But it can also create space for relationships that feel more aligned and supportive. Take a moment to consider, where in your life do you feel most regulated in connection? Where do you feel most depleted? Is there one small boundary that might support your nervous system this week? Boundaries don't have to be dramatic. Small shifts can create meaningful change. Relationships are an important part of healing. We were not created to exist in a vacuum, but to live in connection with others. It's also important to honor your capacity in that process. You can't fill someone else's cup from an empty bucket. Connection and boundaries are not opposites. They work together to support nervous system safety and sustainable relationships. If you'd like additional tools, guided practices, and resources on recreation therapy and nervous system care, you can visit rootedwildretreats.com. You can also follow along on Instagram at rooted_wild_retreats, where I share practical strategies for building supportive routines, relationships, and regulation practices. And if this episode resonated with you, consider sharing it with someone who might benefit or leaving a review. It helps this work reach more people. Until next time, you know the drill. Stay wild!